Thanks so much for sharing your garden with us. And now we're going to be talking about beneficial plants, and there are lots of them that we can be gardening with. I'm joined by Gail Engels from the American Botanical Council, and it's great to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
I've been excited about having the American Botanical Council in Austin for a long time. You study the benefits of different herbs and plants, and for people who are really passionate about using herbs, for example, it's great to have an organization that's vetting all these things for us and actually doing the science part of it.
Right.
I think that's a real important mission that you've got. But you also have loved to garden and
Yes.
and to use these plants in the garden. And you've brought today a very cool plant that we're going to start our conversation off with. It's a form of hibiscus. And I understand this is what they use to create the hibiscus teas.
That's correct. This is Hibiscus sabdurifa. Grows really well here. It'll get about 3, 4, maybe even 5 feet.
Mm-hmm.
And what you do is, a lot of people think it's the flower, but it's actually the calyx, the part that holds the petals,
Right.
that makes the tea. So you harvest it at about this stage, push the seed capsule out and dry this, and then you make the tea out of it. It's wonderful tea. It's a refrigerant, so it helps cool you down on a hot summer day.
We all
And
need
it's-
that in Austin.
Absolutely, and it's really good for hypertension too.
Interesting.
So it'll lower blood pressure.
Which speaks to the research that you do.
That's right.
Because there are all these, one of the things, there are all these wise tales about this herb for this, that herb for that. But you're actually research. That's an important part of your mission.
Right. So what we really do is we report on research more than actually doing primary research ourselves. And what we try to do is educate people on the responsible use of medicinal plants.
Okay.
And we base that on traditional usage, but more on the research that's being done currently on them, because that's the only way it's going to be accepted into modern day healthcare.
Right.
Is if we can prove to people that these things really do what we've been saying for hundreds of years they do.
Well, refrigerant and other benefits as well for this one. And it's such a striking plant. Now, I know the hibiscuses love the sun.
They do.
I'm assuming that this one does as well.
Yes, it does.
And
it loves sun.
And maybe a little bit on the thirsty side.
It's interesting. We probably water the ones in the gardens when it's really hot a couple of times a week.
That's
Because
reasonable.
because then they produce more flowers and more calyces and
more refrigerant.
and right.
Very good. Well, right next to me is another arrangement with a couple of different plants in it.
Right.
We're going to start with the one that's on the top here, which is lemon verbena, which is a super popular plant for our
Yes, it
gardens here in
is.
Central Texas.
Does really well.
Does great here. And what are its uses?
Well, it makes a wonderful tea, because it's got that lovely lemon flavor, and because it's got such a relatively hard leaf, it holds up to heat better, so that if you wanted to cook with something and actually maintain that lemon flavor, it would be the herb that you would use, the lemon herb that you would use. But its medicinal uses are, it's really good for digestion. It helps alleviate the digestive spasms that you get, and it's also good for the central nervous system. So it's a very good plant for anxiety.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, lemon verbena is the plant, and it's the tough as nails Texas survivor for sure. Beautiful plant. Right below it is a form of basil. This is the holy basil, correct?
Correct.
And tell me a little bit about the benefits of this. I just had some with my Thai lunch, I believe.
Yes. So there are a number of varieties of the holy basil, and this variety is called Kapur. And we've grown all 4 of them, and this is the one that does best in Central Texas.
Kapur.
As far
Okay.
as we can tell. It's more robust. It gets about 2 to 3 feet tall. It reseeds freely so that you can dig it up in the spring and give it to your friends. And it has this wonderful clove-like fragrance and taste that comes from the eugenol content in the plant. It's really good for, it's got so many uses. It's good for, it's an analgesic, so it's good for pain. It's anti-anxiety. It's really good for colds and flu. So if you had grown some this year, you could dry it and make tea for yourself through the winter. Like all the basils, it benefits from really hard pruning on a regular basis. So you can cut it back by half,
Right.
dry the tops, and then it'll just come back fresh for you.
Well, that's one of the nice things about basil. It's very easy to work with, and
Right.
that periodic pruning just really encourages the fullness of the plant, and you get to harvest that much more.
Right.
Right.
And one of the things that we've noticed about this particular one is that if you let it bloom and set seed like these cuttings are doing, all the energy is going into the blooming and the seeding. So the flavor of the leaves is not going to be as good. So if you keep cutting it back, then you're always going to have fresh tips, which are the best parts for making your tea or drying for use
Excellent.
in the winter.
Okay, well, that's holy basil, again, a very popular plant. Aloe vera is one of the first things when people think about beneficial plants, it's often at the top of the list that people recognize.
Right. And I think a whole lot of people don't realize how well it does here in the landscape. You have to cover it if you're going to have a hard freeze. So pretty much anything between 30, we throw frost covers or blankets over
Right.
it. But it, makes beautiful blooms,
Right.
and it blooms for a very long period of
Yeah,
time.
the blooms attract hummingbirds. Yeah,
And if you plant it right outside your kitchen door, if you burn yourself, you just run out and break a leaf off, and it's magical.
yeah, it works extremely well.
Really well.
And again, a great garden plant for Central Texas, I think.
Yes, I
you
think so
know.
too.
And there are many different forms of aloe vera that you can grow here, and some actually are quite cold hardy, but
Right.
they're the minority, really.
Right. This is the species that we think does the best. All our others we keep in pots and move into the greenhouse.
Okay. All right, so aloe vera. Now, there's a plant on our list that I know nothing about. It's called Bacopa.
Bacopa.
Okay, tell me a little bit about it.
Bacopa is a lovely plant, originates in India. It's used in Ayurvedic medicine, which is one of their traditional medicine paradigms, for improving cognition and memory. And
right.
it's lovely little low growing, or it'll spill over a wall if you want to plant it that way, or the side of a pot. And it's covered in little tiny white flowers all summer long. And when you use it in a tea, if you harvest it to use it in a tea, you're probably going to want to mix it with something like mint or lemon verbena or something that has a nice flavor, because it doesn't have much of a flavor.
Okay.
A lot of the beneficial plants, if they're not in the mint family, just kind of have a grassy green kind of taste.
Sure.
So mint's always really good to grow a couple of different kinds of mints that you can mix with your.
Sure.
I mix mint with this when I make the tea.
Yes.
Because this is kind of tart, and the mint will sweeten it up a little and give it a little bit different flavor and make it more palatable to more people.
Great idea. So Bacopa, and again, has many different uses.
Yes.
Now, I want to tout your Herbalgram. This is something that I know that you work very hard on.
Right.
This is the publication of the American Botanical Council. And who do you send it out to?
Well, we send it out to all our members. We have a very small distribution in stores, but it's mostly, it's a benefit of membership in the American Botanical Council.
Right.
And we celebrated our 100th issue last November 1st at the same time that we celebrated our 25th birthday.
Okay.
So we've been around a little while.
Okay. And it is a great resource. It's a
Right.
beautiful little magazine, really well put together. So I
Thank
hope
you.
that people will take advantage of it. And here in Central Texas, people can also visit you directly, right?
Yes, we would love to have people come visit. We're in East Austin on Manor Road. We're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. You can come anytime you want for a self-guided tour. If you want to bring a group out and have a guided tour, you should call us and we'll set it up. Yeah, we love to have people out. We have one big event a year currently, and that's the first Saturday in May. It's Herb Day, and we'll have a big event with plants for sale, books for sale, tours, lectures.
Lots of great resources.
Maypole.
It sounds like a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun.
Okay, and that is, again, the American Botanical
American
Council,
Botanical Council.
located right here in East Austin.
Yes.
And people can visit it year-round.
Correct.
Well, it's been a real pleasure visiting with you, Gail.
Thank you.
you so much for sharing all your information about these plants and many, many more folks can learn about. So thanks for being a part of the program.
Thank you.
All right, and coming up next, it's our friend Daphne.